Hey guys, it's Jen. Welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the new Alter Ego Aurora palette that just launched this week, and I'm going to be comparing it to the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. First, I just want to quickly show you the palette up close and show you some comparison swatches with the Sunrise palette just so you can get a good idea of how they look. So this retails for $16 on Alter Ego's website. I do have a coupon code with them which can save you 10%. It brings the price to $14.40, I believe. So I'll put that up on the screen. It's Jen10, and full disclaimer, that is an affiliate code, so I do make a small commission if you do use my code, and if you do, thank you so much. So this is Alter Ego's 5th palette now, and I am just so excited that they are growing and expanding the brand. They also are coming out with false lashes, which I'm going to show you in just a second as well. But this palette is pretty much an exact shade for shade dupe for the Sunrise palette, and it just has those beautiful warm tone colors. It's a mix of matte and shimmer shades. There's no glitters in here, so that's a good thing. Packaging is just like their other packaging. The only one that's a little bit different is the Temptress palette, which is the sultry dupe. That one for some reason has different packaging, but the rest of them are just, you know, the cardboard outside, and then it kind of has like this matte finish on the inside, the little bit of like kind of a rubbery texture, which is good and bad. I do like the feel of it, but unfortunately it gets very, very dirty. As you're using the shadows, they stain this and they're really hard to get off of it. So just something to keep in mind. I feel like all of my Alter Ego palettes look really messy for that reason. And the one that I mentioned, the Temptress one, has more of like a glossy inside to it, and the powders just wipe away. So I actually kind of like the packaging on that one the best. But these look really nice as well. They're just very compact and sleek. I feel like they are more high-end than a lot of other drugstore palettes, which are in more like plastic packaging. So I do really, really love that. So first, let's go ahead and look at some swatches of the Aurora palette just by itself. And I felt like it swatched really, really well. The powders felt soft. The shimmer shades felt very rich and buttery and pigmented. The matte shades were definitely very soft and very velvety, and they feel like they're going to be really blendable. And then let's go ahead and look at it next to the Sunrise palette. And looking at them side by side, the shades are not in the same order. They definitely mix things around a little bit, but they look completely identical in the pan. And then when you see the swatches next to each other, this is one of the most identical dupes I've ever seen. It's like shade for shade, almost exact. And when I posted these swatches on my Instagram page a couple days ago, I got so many comments saying the exact same thing, that there are a lot of really close dupes out there, but this one I feel like they really, really nailed every single color. It looks pretty much the same. So we're gonna see how close they are once we put them on the eyes. Quickly though, I just want to show you their false lashes as well. I have, how many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different styles. These are going to be $7, so very, very affordable. And I believe they're going to be launching on December 10th, so next week. But they have so many different styles to choose from. Some of them are bigger and bolder. Other ones are a little bit more natural looking. I did try to apply these, and I wanted to be able to use these during the video after I did the look. Unfortunately, I spent so much time last night with one of them trying to get them to stick to my eyes, and I'm terrible at false lashes, first of all, but as I was trying and trying last night, I kind of realized that it could be due to my eye shape. I have like a really rounded eye shape, so I kind of feel like that could have been part of why false lashes don't work well on me, because as I'm gluing them down, I feel like they have to bend even more than they already do, and then the glue kind of has to work even harder. It kept popping up, and I did apply the glue like 30 seconds beforehand and let it get tacky, because I know that's what you're supposed to do. Just nothing worked. I tried it so many times, and I tried trimming them so that they fit my eye shape a little bit better. I couldn't figure it out, and I think I even ripped out some of my lashes in the process, so I just said, you know what? Screw it, we're just gonna move on. And I think what I'm gonna do is just give some of these away to you guys in this video, because they also sent me a second palette to do a giveaway. So I think the lashes that I didn't open, I'll just go ahead and include in that giveaway as well. So don't forget to look for that link down below to get the palette and some of these lashes as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the demo. I'm just going to go ahead and put my hair back. I got some of these headbands at Amazon the other day, and I think they're so cute. They look like kind of like the Louis Vuitton logo. I think they're supposed to be kind of like Louis Vuitton dupes, but it came in a pack of 3 and they were really inexpensive. So I just needed some new ones because I have other headbands I was using for videos, but they're the kind that like goes over your head and then back up, and I just wanted regular headbands that are easier to just slip on. So anyway, if you're in need of headbands, I felt like these were really cool. They're very comfortable as well to wear. All right, so I think I'm gonna do Aurora on this side and then Natasha Denona over here. I have no idea what kind of look I'm I'm even gonna create yet. So let me see. I have to look at the palette. All right, so first I'm gonna go ahead and apply the shade Shine to my crease using the Morphe M330 brush. And I feel like this shade blends out really beautifully. It's the first step in sort of like the sunset eye that I'm gonna do. So I wanted to add a little bit of yellow to the look without making it too bright or too crazy. So this is just the perfect transition color for my skin tone. And like I said, I think it blends out really easily. And then using the same brush, I did clean it off, using the shade Morning from the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. And this one, I felt like it applied very similarly. I had no trouble blending this one out either. It may have gone on just slightly more pigmented in the beginning, but once I blended it, it looked pretty much exactly the same on my eyes. Next, I'm dipping into the shade Nova in the Aurora palette, and I'm using the Morphe 506 brush, and I like this one because it's really tiny and I have hooded eyes, so it helps me to put the shadow exactly where I want it. So I'm just putting this right into the immediate crease, but not going too much above it like I did with the other shade, and also just putting this one in the outer V. This is a really hot pink shade, but in the Alter Ego palette, it goes on a little bit more soft and subtle, but I did feel like it went on okay. It went on very smoothly. It wasn't patchy or anything like that. And I also felt like it was easy to blend out. And then taking the same brush on the Sunrise side, I'm using the shade Glory. And this one, again, is very similar in color, but it's a little bit more, I would say, patchy and harder to blend out because it's a little bit more pigmented. You can kind of see as I'm putting it on that it looks a little bit darker than the Alter Ego one does, and a little bit more true to the color in the pan. But as I start to blend it out, it does fade a little bit. It just took so much blending with this side. So that's one reason I like the Alter Ego shadows, because I feel like you can always build them up to the intensity that you want and they're still easy to blend, whereas the more pigmented shadows like Natasha Denona can often be a little bit tricky to apply. Next, I'm going to apply the shade Spark to my lid using the Morphe M167 brush. This is just a flat synthetic brush, and I felt like it picked up the product really easily, and it did apply it to my eyes very smoothly and evenly, but it wasn't quite the intensity that I was hoping for with the brush. So then I decided to go in and just pack it on with my finger instead, and I felt like that produced a really nice result. And this color is really, really beautiful as well. I also thought that it looked very smooth on my eyelid, even though it is a shimmer shade. So I was very happy with that. And then just to keep things even, I decided to do the same thing on the Natasha Denona side. So I started out first applying it with the brush, and I had a very similar result. It went on okay, but it wasn't like super vibrant or anything like that. So then instead I decided to go in with my finger, and I have to say, with my finger, this shadow was a little bit more dry and crumbly feeling. I had a little bit of fallout coming down, and on top of that, for some reason, it didn't look as smooth as it did on the Alter Ego side. So I thought that was kind of interesting, especially because I'm over 40 now. I have a little bit more texture on my eyelids, and I thought that the Natasha Denona shadow highlighted the texture a little bit more than the Alter Ego side. So as far as the shimmer shades go, I also prefer the Alter Ego side just because I felt like it looked a little bit better. Next, taking a flat liner brush, this is the Morphe M432. I'm applying that shade Nova again underneath my eyes, just along my lash line. And I did the same thing on the other eye using Natasha Denona's Glory shade. And then to give the look some interest and to keep it from looking too orangey, I decided to dip back into the shade Dawn, which is that really beautiful kind of lavender shimmer shade. And this one is a little more sheer. It's kind of like a topper. So I applied that with my finger on top of the other shimmer shade that I used. And you can kind of still see the color underneath peeking through a little bit since the shade is a little more sheer. But I just thought it would give the look some depth and interest. And then on the Natasha Denona side, I used the shade Aster, which looks exactly the same. It performed almost exactly the same. I felt like this one was maybe just a little bit more difficult to pick up. I had to go back into the pan a couple of times. Not that it was getting hard pan, but it was kind of like almost there. So I really felt like I had to dig and dig into this shadow to pick up as much as I did on the Alter Ego side. Next, I'm applying a few coats of the new L'Oreal Bambi Eye Mascara, and here's a finished look. I honestly am having a hard time determining which side is which at the end of the day. I feel like they look pretty much identical on the eyes, so very, very impressive on Alter Ego's part for sure. Alright, so I'm just going to quickly go ahead and do the rest of my face. So I'm going to be using the Doll 10 Hydrogel Cream Balm in the shade Dolce. I love these cream blushes so much. It's the cream balm. They do have cream blush on their site as well, but I haven't tried those. I have the balms, and they're amazing because they're so like lightweight. They feel almost weightless on the cheeks, and they dry to a powder almost immediately. So if you're worried about like moving your foundation around, they really don't, because they're so like non-greasy, and they just kind of melt and become one with your skin, and they look so super natural. I love them. They don't like leave your cheeks feeling like tacky or sticky like some cream blushes do. They're absolutely amazing. And it really looks like the blush is just coming from within your skin. Like it just looks so natural compared to a powder blush, especially like in the winter time now. I love reaching for more cream formulas because my skin is so dry, and it just helps them to look a little less dry and a little bit more dewy. And then for my lips, I just want to keep things really neutral since I have a lot going on in my eyes. So I'm going to be using the Doll 10 lipstick in the shade Ladylike. Again, amazing formula from them. I love these lipsticks so much. They're so creamy and they feel so comfortable on the lips, especially if you have like really dry lips like I do. And this shade is like a beautiful pinky nude, and it's not one of those nudes that washes you out completely or gives you like concealer lips or anything. All right, so just zooming you guys back out, just trying to fix my hair a little bit. All right, so I feel like the Alter Ego side looks just as good as the Natasha Denona, at least on camera, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a wear test for you guys as well, because I wanna see how it holds up throughout the day compared to the more expensive version. So I'm just gonna go ahead about the rest of my day. It's pretty early now, it's around 9 a.m. So I'll come back around 5 p.m. and we'll do it, just check in and see how everything held up. I'm also curious about the mascara to see if that smudges on me as well. So I will see you guys a little bit later on. Hey guys, I'm back for my final check-in a little bit early. It's about 3:30, almost 3:30. I have to run out and pick up my son from school, but I just wanted to quickly do this because I forgot we have Taekwondo practice for him right after school, and then I have to come home and start getting dinner ready, and I just don't think I'm gonna have time to do the check-in at 5 like I wanted to. So it's been about 6.5 hours versus 8. However, I mean, it still looks pretty much exactly the same both sides as it did when I first applied it. So I think Alter Ego did an amazing job with this formula. I really like don't see any difference other than it being slightly less pigmented, but I actually found it to be easier to work with, which is pretty much the conclusion that I come to with most of their palettes, because when they're duping a brand like Natasha Denona, which, you know, she has notoriously very pigmented formulas, and me not being super skilled with eyeshadow and all that, you know, I tend to like shadows that aren't as pigmented, that I can build up to my liking and not have to sit there and try to blend out, because I feel like that's when I start to make mistakes. So I like ones that can be layered, but it's not to say that it's not pigmented, because it really, really is. It just was slightly less than the Natasha Denona. So I think the palette's amazing. Definitely recommend it. I definitely give it a thumbs up. Also, if you are planning to order anything from their site, don't forget that I have the code GEN10, which will save you 10% off your order. Also, I forgot to mention that they do have the false lashes coming out on the 10th as well, if you're interested in those. And I just wanted to quickly, kind of on a side note, as I was watching some of the footage back that I filmed earlier today, I realized that, you know, I hope you didn't think that I was trying to say that the false lashes aren't good because I had trouble applying them. That's just me. I cannot apply any false lashes. I have the same trouble with all of them, so I think it's just my lack of skill and practice, and also possibly my eye shape like I was saying before, but it has nothing to do with the lashes. I feel like they're really high quality. They seem to be really good, so it's definitely not the lashes. It's all me. And I also wanted to remind you guys, down in the description box below is the link for the giveaway to win the palette as well as some of the lashes, so don't forget to enter that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and also let me know down in the comments below what you thought of the palette and the look that I created and all that stuff. Are you planning to order it? I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you head out, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.